All right, Ian, thanks so much for joining us here. As we get started, I wanted to give you a chance to describe your journey from the time you graduated in 2014 to now.
So I started my first full-time, technically part-time, but full-time athletic training job was a graduate assistant at USD. Worked there and got my master's degree in kinesiology and sports science with a concentration in exercise science while I was working at USD, certified and licensed. I worked with women's soccer, swimming, track, and football while I was there. And then after I graduated at USD with my master's degree, they hired me on full time as an athletic trainer with USD. Mostly worked with football, track, and a little bit of swimming. And then after working there as a full-time employee of the athletic program, it was I think 2.5, 3-ish years, and then working with team physicians at USD, they knew this job was open, and the team physicians at USD kind of recommended me, told me to apply to this job, and gave me good recommendations for this job. And then I've worked in this position this is my 4th year with the Skyforce. So yeah,
Very good.
been here since then. Yeah.
What's been the most rewarding part, thinking about your time with the Skyforce, what's been the most rewarding part of this job?
It for sure for me, and you have to kind of think about it with just sometimes to manage stress, obviously, the rewards of athletic training and the rewards of your job. But what I usually think about is being able to see players in the NBA, players overseas that are successful, that you've worked with and that you've helped and been able to prolong careers or just be a part of their journey in their career as a professional athlete. It's really rewarding, just like seeing guys like Davon Reed with the Nuggets, Duncan Robinson with the Heat, guys that I've worked with, just seeing how much they do on a daily basis and how much a struggle the G League is sometimes, but just to be able to get through and have a successful career and prolong careers with healthcare and prevention of injury, treatments, all that stuff. That's one thing that professional athletes, especially just coming out of college, don't realize. It's rewarding for me to have an athlete come from a big D1 university, come here, and they've been able to do all these things at their big university, and then they come to the G League and they get the same typical kind of treatment, but they realize, oh, I played 50 games in 4 months, 5 months, and my body's starting to break down in January. And then you're able to assist them, help, and they realize you're there for them, and you can prolong their career and help them have a profitable career as well.
Wonderful. I think I read something now with the Skyforce being part of the Miami Heat organization. Have there been some opportunities for you along with that?
Yeah. So, sorry, pop up. So I'm in contact with the Miami Heat medical and training staff on, if not a weekly basis, a daily basis, just because of the two-way contracts and the assignment players. We haven't had any assignment players this year. The past couple of years we've had assignment players, but two-way players are basically players that have a contract with a G League organization affiliate. So Miami Heat, their two-way players are sent to us without any change in their contract. So they get paid the same whether they're in Miami or Sioux Falls. And so I have to communicate with them constantly about that. And with that, I go with them to training camp every year. So every year when Miami's in training camp, I'll work with them as well because their roster's up to 22, I believe, during training camp. And so just an extra set of hands with guys they know that they're going to get a G League contract to send down to develop. So that if they get a chance to see my face in Miami, it's a lot better for them when they come to Sioux Falls. It is a little bit of a shock to the system, Miami to Sioux Falls. But seeing a familiar face, whether it's coaches that are in Miami, that are Sioux Falls coaches, or me as an athletic trainer in Miami, working with them in the heat during training camp is good for them as well. And then every summer league, NBA summer league, I go and work because those guys a lot of times will get G League contracts as well. So I work with them at summer league, and just about every year I go to the NBA combine as well, because the G League athletic trainers are supplemental members of the National Basketball Athletic Trainers Association. So I'm a supplemental member of the National Basketball Athletic Trainers Association. So we get continuing education there, as well as we cover some combine scrimmages between draftees and are kind of doing some coverage for the demographic and anthropometric measurements and all that stuff. So I think that's everything that I've done with Miami we do it on a regular basis anyway. So yeah, training camp, summer league, and the combine. Yep.
Do you have aspirations, or is there an opportunity to continue moving through the organization? If that's something that you're interested in?
Yeah. I really enjoy Sioux Falls. I really enjoy what I'm doing right now. But if they were to call me tomorrow and say, "Hey, would you want to take a job?" and I would say yes. I really appreciate the Heat organization. The thing with some professional sports is there's not a lot of there's a little bit more of turnover in staff with professional sports. So I would say that I wouldn't be on the lookout for any specific professional job, no matter what. But I really appreciate the Miami Heat organization, and I know a lot more about different NBA organizations now that I've been in the G League for a while. So it would have to be not necessarily the perfect job, but I wouldn't just take any job, I would say. But yes, aspirations to work with the Heat or the NBA for sure.
Wonderful. Let's go back to when you were deciding on your choice of a college. So I don't know, high school senior, high school junior. Why did you choose Dakota Wesleyan?
So I knew I wanted to major in athletic training, and I knew I wanted to play football. There's quite a few schools that don't necessarily allow that, or they're not huge on the way that it works because of how much time it takes out of your free time to be an athletic trainer or an athletic training student and an athlete. But Dakota Wesleyan didn't really bat an eye when I was on my visit. They were like, yeah, you can play football, you can be an athletic training student. And a lot of the other schools were like, yeah, you could do it. It's not the greatest idea. It was kind of the message I got, but Dakota Wesleyan was all for it. And everything just kind of aligned because of football and athletic training. Even though it was out of state for me, it worked.
Awesome. So how did Dakota Wesleyan help you get to where you are today as head athletic trainer at Skyforce?
When I first got out of college at Dakota Wesleyan, obviously everybody, when they first get out of college, they're not sure what's going on. They're not sure what they're going to be doing. But when I was starting at USD as a graduate assistant, I didn't realize how prepared I was until I started working and realizing I'm really prepared because of how much on hand or hands-on kinds of things I was able to do with a small university like Dakota Wesleyan University. The mentors that I had with Dan, Lana, Randy, Jared was also there, and Kelsey Hansen was also there. But the mentors that I had, I was able to ask questions. They were readily available constantly. And I spent hours and hours working in the athletic training room, and I didn't really realize how prepared I was until I started to work on my own. And the fact that I was freely able to work on my own and ask questions while I was a senior, junior, with different sports, really helped me prepare for my first job.
Awesome. A chance to think about students that are maybe considering the Dakota Wesleyan Masters of Athletic Training program. What would you tell students that are considering that program?
As just considering the program, not in the program.
Correct. Prospective students, high school seniors, maybe that are thinking about athletic training and why you would recommend Dakota Wesleyan to them.
So Dakota Wesleyan is a really, really unique opportunity because you are able to work with your professors constantly, and it's not a huge university that you're not necessarily able to just talk to your professor one-on-one on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. And I felt that I got a ton of unique experiences being able to work one-on-one with my professors and in a variety of settings as well. So it's not just I got to work with my professors one-on-one constantly. I got to work with them in women's basketball. I got to work with them in football. I got to work with them in soccer. I got to work with them in baseball. I got to work with them in all these different types of settings, which you can't always do with every single university.
Awesome. And then the last thing I have for you is what advice would you give to current Dakota Wesleyan athletic training students?
I would say get out of your comfort zone. I know as whether you're senior, whether you're just graduating, or whether you're just getting into athletic training school, get out of your comfort zone, because even though it's hard to get out of your comfort zone, you want to stay with your strengths. No matter what, you're going to have to get through. I guess a better way of saying it is get out of your comfort zone, because you have to be prepared to be an athletic trainer. No matter what, you're gonna things are gonna come up. Things are gonna be hard. So getting out of your comfort zone, making sure you feel confident in every situation is the best way to go about going through college and athletic training school, because you have a supervisor that can take care of things no matter what while you're there. So getting out of your comfort zone while you're in school and while you also have a mentor right there with you is the best way to become prepared for your next job.
That's great. Jan, I don't have anything else. Do you have any questions to add?
No, that was so fun to listen to. I turned my camera off, of course, and I was on mute, but I'm just sitting here smiling the whole time. So it was just awesome. Thank you so much, Ian. What a journey. And I just think there's so many, I can just tell that so many students would look up to you and just see where you're at and think, oh, maybe that can be me someday. So it's very exciting.
Ian, do you have any opportunity? I'm just thinking here aloud. Any opportunities down the road to, I don't know if, internships for current students or.
Yeah, so it's always a little bit difficult. I've always tried to stay in touch with Randy and Lana for the most part about that, because the way it works, long story short, I really have 3 bosses because I'm employed by Sanford,
Yeah.
but the Skyforce contracts specifically me,
Mhm.
and the majority owner of the Skyforce is the Miami Heat. So really, the end all be all, it's the Heat, but the
Yep.
Skyforce focuses on the day to day with me, and then when it comes to who I get paid by, it's Sanford. So it it really gets kind of confusing, but I've tried to kind of do a little bit of connection with Dakota Wesleyan, with whether it's internships or anything. It just really hasn't worked because of a lot of times I'm on the road, and when they want, or when somebody's in the athletic training room with the athletes, they'd rather have a certified athletic trainer, which is possible with internships and things like that. But it might be a little bit more of an opportunity now that we have 2 athletic trainers with the Skyforce, just to have a third that could be a student, because sometimes when it was me and just me, it almost became it would be more of a process to have a student while I was still working. So yeah, I've tried to work on it, and will continue to work on it. But it has to go through a lot of hoops before I'm able to get something done, whether
For
it's Sanford, Skyforce, or whatever. So
yeah, I certainly understand that. But the biggest thing I can tell you, and from my position in the alumni office now, is the more advocating that we can do for graduates or soon to be graduates, the better off we can be. But the thing I also want to tell you is, we're just proud of what you're doing, because by what you're doing, that's helping our students. Because when other people are applying for jobs and they see the work that Ian is doing out in, with the Skyforce or with the NBA, the next group of students that are going to graduate are in a better spot because of your success. So we're proud of you on that, and we appreciate you.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.